Welcome, everybody. John Zegar. Good afternoon. 2:51 Mountain Standard Time here on the eastern slope of Colorado. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everyone is well. I'm at home. I have my air conditioner going, so you may hear that in the background running. My apologies. I haven't figured out how to cancel out all the different sounds and stuff, but I keep working on it. I'm drinking some iced lemonade today. It's very good. Nice and tart. It's overcast. Looks like we could have rain, I don't know, within the next hour or two. Typical Colorado afternoon rainstorms. So, the podcast today is, the title I put on it, I should say, is Life is Tough and It Only Gets Tougher. Something like that. I don't remember. Life is tough and it gets tougher. The last several days have been kind of tough, and I've realized that they kind of just get tougher sometimes, and I wanted to talk about that. And it's going to be a good podcast, so bear with me and follow along, and I'll make sure it all relates and makes sense at the end, and I kind of have a general idea and direction of where I'm going with it, and I just wanted to talk about it because I don't think it's unique to me, and a lot of people probably experience the same kind of thing. But anyway, here we go. So when we do meditations, we set intentions, right? And if we follow along, we're supposed to include some heightened emotion and be fairly clear and try to drop down from beta to alpha to theta and eventually drop into the unified field, which is where all the energy is from all living things in the universe. Pretty clear, right? Pretty simple process. That's the formula for manifesting something in your life. Don't have to go get a book. Don't have to go jump on a bandwagon of some program. I just gave you the formula. And if you do that, and if you stay positive and stay focused and don't get negative, the likelihood is that you will manifest your intentions. Now, the difficulty comes in that so many people are not pure with their intentions. In other words, the intention gets a little obscure, and there is some doubt that creates more confusion in manifesting, and nothing ever happens. And you go on and on and on for long periods of time, and you don't ever get what you really want. Add to that the law of attraction. Law of attraction says the same exact thing, and it encourages that, like attracts like, and energy attracts energy, and vibration attracts vibration, and frequency attracts frequency, right? That's kind of the law of attraction. That's their formula. It's also the other formula, parts of it that go along with like Dr. Joe's. So those two are dang near identical. They both separate themselves because, they want to be unique in their own way. I hear some scuttlebutt from the group of Dr. Joe's periodically that there's some holes in the armor with law of attraction, and we might want to consider going over there because it may not be legit. It may not actually work based on what they're saying. And likewise, I don't hear law of attraction jumping on the bandwagon of Dr. Joe. Neither one, I don't think they really throw rocks at each other, but they're not out propagating one another. When in all actuality, the programs are pretty close to being similar. Now, add in religion. Long time ago, they separated religion, spirituality, and science. The two were getting in each other's way. The scientists wanted to talk about science, and religion wanted to talk about religion, and neither one wanted to give the other one credit or its part due in the whole process. So in order to make everything turn out fine, they all agreed to just separate the two. There's a camp over here that's just science, and there's a camp over here that has to do with religion. And they each spoke about their own individual schools of thought. That makes sense? So you get all three of those, and I'm not going to go into all of the other sundry programs that have sparked and surfaced as a result of these three main entities or programs. And what happens is that people get confused when they're in one of these three. They may have some spirituality or religious beliefs, God, supernatural. They may even listen to law of attraction from time to time, and they start getting the three different camps overlapping, and that causes some doubt or question or concern, and then they end up not manifesting because they're kind of confused. It isn't clear and pure in their intention. That's where I got to. I studied all three and jumped in hook, line, and sinker in all three. Grew up with the religion and spirituality all the way through my whole life, and just 100% into that, and I'm okay with that. Got into the Dr. Joe thing, I don't know, whenever he started 10 years ago or whatever. Bought it hook, line, and sinker, loved it, loved the science, Loved the fact it wasn't psychology. It fixed psychological problems through science. People didn't have to go through the emotional turmoil and hurt and pain and suffering. And I started listening to Law of Attraction maybe 5 years ago, and I would get periods where I was more intent into it than others. But I always had some, what would you call it? I had some non-acceptance. There were parts of it that they couldn't answer when questions would come up. They didn't have particular resolutions to issues. And everything kind of just, there was an attempt to make everything real simplified by complicating how we present it. If we talk over everybody's head, they'll all believe it makes sense, when in fact, we're not even sure. At any rate, there was some information in there that was not correlating to what I thought the law of attraction was saying. So I was always skeptical. I always have had skepticism regarding that program. When I look back at my healing, and I guess what I'm going to talk about is my cardiovascular issues that have gone past. They're no longer around. For my thought, I don't have cardiovascular problems any longer. And I don't. I mean, I really don't. I just am fine. And that's a healing that I had. And it came when I was so, I'm just so sick and tired of having cardiovascular issues. I don't care any longer if I have them or not. Whenever that thought entered my mind in my program several years ago is when the cardiovascular stuff healed itself. And it's never been an issue since. The second healing I had was I had a generalized anxiety disorder from belief systems. Obviously, this is all belief and perceptions that you get when you're a little kid, but it persisted for most of my life, and it was disruptive, right? And it was the same kind of thing. I had tried to go to traditional Newtonian psychology, and all they wanted to do was bring back the hurt, the pain, the suffering, and that was fine, but nothing ever went away. When I got into our program that we all talk about here, when I understood my generalized anxiety disorder that was disruptive in my life, severely actually, and I understood it in terms of science, it went away. I don't remember, I don't recall the last time I felt anxiety. So, from my standpoint, that's healed. I don't have it anymore. I mean, I can sit down and sit here and try to think about it, but I ain't got no anxiety. So that's the two healings that I have had as a result of trying to work all these programs, religion and Dr. Joe and law of attraction, and most of this has to do with religion and Dr. Joe, and law of attraction really didn't actually fit in much for me. I like lemonade in the summertime. But so now I reach a dilemma. My third healing, and the last, there's only three. There's some tertiary ones, but I won't even talk about them. The third one was lack. Living in lack for such an extended, long period of time. And again, working the program, believing in my higher power, my religion, my spirituality, and putting a lot of weight on that. And then the science of Dr. Joe's program, which just makes everything crystal clear, because he just presents everything so clearly. Those two really worked. I'm going to omit the law of attraction because it really just doesn't work for me. I understand the principle, and I'm accepting of a lot of that stuff, but it's really not something that I spend a lot of time on or actually recommend to anybody. But so the lack thing has not ever healed or gone away. My life has remained in lack. Now, I need to preface that with I have been blessed over and over and over again in lack. I have so much gratitude and thankfulness for everything I have in lack. My life is actually fairly comfortable. Now, granted, I'm not living in luxury. Who is? I'm not living in a stick-built, kind of house or cottage or whatever you call it. I'm not and haven't for a long, long time. But I'm fairly comfortable with where I'm at. I don't have I don't have like running water. Toilet. There's some essential things that a person would want to have that might qualify you for not being in lack, and I don't have some of those, right? But by the same token, I don't want to say I have a miserable life, because I've learned how to manage around what I don't have. I've learned how to manage with minimal amounts of money that most people would consider below poverty level. And I get mad and I jump up and down and stomp my feet, and I realize that doesn't do anybody any good. But I've learned how to adjust to living below the poverty level and making ends meet with what I do have, and be grateful for that and thankful. So I want to make sure that's clear, right? Which brings me to the current position I'm in. And this is the reason for the podcast. And this is the reason for the past, I don't know, I suppose I haven't done a podcast in 4 or 5 days, I suppose. I've been angry and I've been stomping around and just, I try to work my program meticulously in order to get out of lack and get into abundance. Abundance to me can be not much further away than where I am now. But anyway, they tell you to, dream bigger. So of course I try to meditate on something bigger than what it would take for me to be more comfortable. I mean, it would be nice to be in a stick-built house, right? It'd be nice to have a vehicle that's not got a blown engine. It would be nice to not worry about how you're going to afford to buy food. There's just basic stuff. But I'm not complaining, but I'm complaining because I've had nothing manifest that I wanted. And again, as we all know, when it comes to you, it's not going to probably look like what you expect it to look like, when you meditate. And so I've kind of thrown my hands up in the air and thrown religion, spirituality, and Dr. Joe's program and law of attraction, and I've just kind of like tossed it up in the air and said, "Pooey, I've tried this so hard and so diligently, and nothing's happening." So that's where I've been the last few days. Doesn't mean I'm going to stay there. It just means that's where I'm at the past few days. Here's what I've come up with. Wishes and desires. There's certain things that I have control over and certain things I have absolutely no control over. And I need to get out of my own way so that things can do what they're supposed to do. And it's all about energy, frequency, and vibration. It isn't any more complicated than energy, frequency, and vibration. It isn't any more complicated. So I decided to go back and try to pursue matter-changing matter in order to produce some more money. What that means is get a job so that you can work some ungodly hours so that you get paid money, which is only the amount of minimum wage anyway. I come to find out people just don't pay very much. And if they know you're unemployed and homeless, trust me, people take advantage of that, and they don't seem to give you very much money anyway. But anyway, so I went and immediately got a person to say, yeah, we'd like to have you work. I went in there this morning, first day. Felt like the mountain fell down, and they basically said, this probably isn't going to work. I didn't even try to have a discussion at that point because I just was blindsided by that and understood in my own mind that my energy, frequency, and vibration were just clearly not matching up since last week when I applied. Right? I'm just writing something down. Okay, so I just politely said thank you very much, and I appreciate the opportunity, and thanks for letting me talk to you again a little bit further, and I'll be fine, and I wish you the best, and just moved on. What I came up with was that there's a greater intelligence that plays a role in this whole process. Right? And there's a unified field that plays a greater role in this whole process, right? And both of those this morning decided to jump in and say, quit trying to manipulate and make things go the way you want them to go, and allow us to continue directing traffic. So therefore, I believe a greater intelligence this morning jumped in, and the energy, frequency, and vibration did not match up. And the unified field, I believe, this morning did the same thing. It jumped in, and the energy, frequency, and vibration did not match up. And there you go. No chance for John taking matter, trying to change matter. And the realization ended up that you're doing fine. You're working on that energy, frequency, and vibration in your program, and you have to believe in it a little bit more than you do, right? In order for your intention to manifest. My intention is to move from lack into abundance, right? Into a stick-built house, into a safe and worthy kind of vehicle. So I've simplified it a little bit, and my meditations now are about my wishes and desires. That's it. I have wishes, which I've just talked to you guys about, and I have desires, which I've just talked to you guys about. And they produce an energy, a frequency, and a vibration. And it leaves me in a state of peace, joy, and happiness when I finish my meditation. And I do them two times a day for sure, sometimes 3. And I always end up in a very peaceful place, and I'm very satisfied, and I know I've raised my energy, my frequency, and vibration. And I need to continue down that path. That's the path I need to continue. Just working on my wishes and desires, foreseeing my destiny, foreseeing what my life looks like in front of me, being healthy and abundant, right? So, kind of a long story to get to the end of this, but what I've just given you guys is a working scenario. of how the program develops and evolves, both for the better and for the worse. And if it goes down the road for the worse, I just gave you the way to redirect it back into a win-win situation, into a situation to where you become healed. Very clear. Go back and listen to this one again a time or two. I know it's difficult for people to do that with time constraints, but today's podcast really is everything you're wanting to know, both positive and negative, and the formulas, and how it evolves, and just everything is right there. Please go back and listen to it again and again if you have to. And it all makes really, really good sense. Lastly, just 1 minute on this one. What I would really like when I think in terms of wishes and desires, I've been doing psychology neuroscience for 43 plus years, right? And I so much enjoy, that's what my gift is from a greater intelligence. I've done counseling, guidance, psychology since I was 4, 5, 6. And my entire life, it's just been easy to do. It's been a joy for me. But anyway, that's my gift. What I would really want to do to complete my life and my cycle and my destiny is to have a little more work in that area. Be it coaching or consulting. I don't care. It's not psychology. I'm not doing psychology. I'm not doing counseling. But I'm doing education and training through coaching and consulting. Everybody knows how to get a hold of me. I'm easy to find, easy to contact. Lots of different ways. I'm all over social media. If there's any way, shape, or form you guys feel like I could be of some service to you, track me down, and I would welcome the opportunity to talk with you. So let's see. Okay, we're good on time, and God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I look forward to talking to you all again real soon. Thanks a lot. See you. Bye.